Good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jays Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden. We're going to talk all things Blue Jays today, which is including another series win. The Toronto Blue Jays, so far this season, which is still in its infancy at the end of the day, but we have only lost one series after we closed out the series against the Atlanta Braves yesterday. We lost and got swept by the the New York Mets a few weeks ago in Queens. Blue Jays did get beat up a little bit in Citi Field, got swept, but at the end of the day, the Blue Jays have been winning every other series or tying it. But we officially won one again yesterday in the Atlanta Braves, and it was an interesting series to say the least because we saw the best of the Atlanta Braves pitching and including a very, very good start for a refound himself, Spencer Strider, the former strikeout king, 20-game winner, made his big league debut again yesterday after having Tommy John surgery. He ended up striking out through five innings, allowed two earned runs, but a very, very impressive outing for Spencer Strider in his first major league appearance in over a year, just over a year. It's like 367 days or something like that. But just to say it, I was very impressed watching Spencer Strider yesterday. So make sure you all check out that highlights of him if you're a big baseball enthusiast, period, because it was very, very impressive. Now let's get to the Blue Jays and how they took this series from the Atlanta Braves. So let's just talk all things Vladdy for a moment because him and the top of this order have been what actually has done the show for the big part of this game. So Bo, Vlad, and Santander yesterday combined for the majority of the offense and all but one of the actual hits yesterday. It was very impressive to see what this top of the order can do when they actually get the opportunity to mash and get people on. So um, Vladdy started off the scoring, hits a home run. Oh no, I take that back. He drove in Bo Bichette for the first run. It was a nice little single up the middle. It worked out really, really well for after Bo Bichette was able to get on base and move around the pillows, and that double would really set up the stage here for the Blue Jays to be able to get their first run. Bo's two hits actually were both doubles. One of them was also later in the game. It was an RBI double, scoring Miles Straw, who had walked previously, still looking very, very impressive at the dish with Miles Straw. We did finally get to see George Springer come into the ball game. It was a defensive substitute late in the game, so he's healthy enough to at least be on the field. So that was very encouraging. He came in to relieve Addison Barger in right field at the end of this game because it was a very tight affair, being only 3-1, and Atlanta scored their only run in the ninth. So let's take that into account as well. So let's talk Vlad because he destroyed this ball. There was no saving it. It was 113 miles an hour off the bat. So this is the hard contact rate that we've been hearing and seeing all about with Vlad. He got to wear the Gatorade at the end of the show, which I thought was a little crazy with how good some of the pitching went, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But Vlad picks up the two RBIs, as I mentioned. Bo Bichette with the other one. Those doubles are starting to add up. Bo Bichette is leading this team in a hits period. Vladdy's heating up to the point where his batting average is just under 300 right now. And then we even saw Anthony Santander starting to heat up the last couple of days, had another hit and a walk as well. So he's now above the Mendoza line, batting 216. Only good things hopefully coming for Tony Taters here in the near future. And sorry, I jumped out of the order of the sidebar, everybody, but I wanted to talk hitting first and I didn't realize it. But let's talk pitching because the Blue Jays actually made a new team record yesterday. And this is because Chris Bassett was on fire for his 5 innings of work. He did end up throwing almost 100 pitches, but at the end of the day, that's what happens when you strike out 10 people in 5 innings. Just saying. Everything was working for Bass yesterday. He only allowed the 3 hits and 2 walks, so those 5 base runners never came around to score. He looked great. Got so many swing and misses. I hadn't seen a Bassett performance with that many swing and misses, so it was very just awesome to see. I cannot say enough good things about whatever work that Chris Bassett did this offseason as he picks up his second win of the Young Blue Jays season. So obviously, I mentioned we broke a record, and I've only talked about 10 of those strikeouts so far. So, who else joined into this new team record? 19 strikeouts at 27 batters in the game yesterday. That is wild. That doesn't happen. The major league record for a single pitcher doing that in a complete game is still Kerry Wood, Roger Clemens at 20. There's only a few guys that have even done that in their major league careers. So, 19 with this rotation and bullpen combination here was very impressive. Brandon Little was the one that came in next, and he kept up the trend by striking out three batters in his one inning of work, so striking out the side. Nick Sandlin came in right after that. He picked up one in his two-thirds of an inning. And then Jimmy Garcia struck out all four batters he faced. Boom. Couldn't believe it. And then Jeff Hoffman comes the thing and nails the door shut in the last inning, picking up his fourth save with another K. But he did give up a home run. So that one bad pitch sometimes is just what it is. I was surprised who hit it. Is Baldwin? I don't even know who that is on the Braves. I'm gonna have to do some digging. I didn't have that one. Drake Baldwin, their catcher, did that, and so picks up a home run off of Hoffman in a game that obviously the Blue Jays were able to run with and just get it going. So very, very cool that the Blue Jays were able to just stack up that many strikeouts in a game. And I cannot say enough good things of what Bassett and the bullpen combination did yesterday because it looked awesome. Love it every minute of it. So what is next? The last, so just, oh, I forgot to say the old franchise record. I know this is really shocking that a potential slash future Hall of Famer slash should be Hall of Famer in Roger Clemens is the one that had this record beforehand, had an 18 strikeout game in 1998 with the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's been a long standing Toronto Blue Jays record. Great stuff to see. And I just hope that everybody can keep this up because this has been looking very crazy good in the starting pitching location. So let's talk about this weekend. Today, the Blue Jays have the off day for Thursday, but we are going to be taking on the Seattle Mariners in the Sky Dome over the weekend. And Friday will be City Connect night, and they're handing out for whoever wants to get there early enough and late in line, they're handing out a bomber jacket. It looks really, really cool. I'd highly recommend checking that out. It does look awkwardly similar to a few things that they have in the store already, so maybe if you miss out on it, it's not so bad. But there is a chance to get a City Connect bomber jacket tonight or tomorrow night and Friday. So who's going to be pitching, you ask? We're going to get Bound Francis is going to be on the mound, hopefully bouncing back from his only rough start so far this season. And rough is relative at the end of the day, was still not too bad. It's just got beat up with some home runs, which is the one thing that Bound Francis seems to do. All the great things that he is doing, I cannot complain. It just seems like he gives up long balls. How he gets rid of his no hitters. So, and while he's doing that, he's obviously 1-2 at this point with a 3.71 ERA, 15 strikeouts, as he'll be taking on Brian Wu of the Seattle Mariners, who is off to a pretty damn good start to his season. One bad outing amongst all of them was basically where his whole earned run average is actually coming from. Gave up 4 runs to the San Francisco Giants a couple weeks ago. But so far this season, he has 19 innings of work and a 2.84 ERA. And like I said, looking rather good as it goes. But he's got 2 wins outside of that as well. So, like I said, only 3 games, 18 strikeouts for Mr. Wu. At the end of the day, I hope the Blue Jays are able to get to him. I'm trying to pull up the stats on who's faced him or anything right now. Vladdy has had a home run and a couple of RBIs against him. Outside of that, many of these Blue Jays hitters have not seen Brian Wu, which is kind of surprising to me. How often we play Seattle. But Brian Wu's also been in and out of the bullpen and things like that too. So maybe that's the actual wild card to that situation. So make sure you check that out. That is a Friday evening game, as I mentioned. If you happen to be free tonight and you're in the Toronto area, make sure you check out my friends at the Walk Off Podcast. Scott Belford is putting on his first Baseball Town event that's not in Dunedin, Florida this year because he did one in spring training this year. He does one in a local comedy club. I highly recommend going at the Walk Off podcast and check that out on Twitter or any social media stuff so you can get the details. It's a great event. He has players, and Keegan Matheson's been to a few of them. It's got the guys from Blue Jays Today going to be there tonight too as well. So if you're looking for grabbing a few beers on a Thursday night and enjoying yourself and talking some baseball, hanging out with the Walk Off podcast and Scotty Belfort is definitely a good time for you. So make sure you check that out. And if you haven't checked out the Jaybird Watching podcast, we had a great in-depth conversation on my other show last night about all things baseball with Blue Jays and whatnot and how good this team has been. We were talking to fans and everybody had a great time. So make sure you check out those live streams every Wednesday evening with us at the Jaybird Watching podcast, my other show. I greatly appreciate it. Until then, make sure you like, share, subscribe. All three of those podcasts, including this one, and we will have some fun talking all Blue Jays all day, every day, and we will go from there. But thank you again, and have a great day, everybody. Cheers.